In this video, I'm going to tell you about research ethics, principles of research ethics, examples of unethical practices in educational research, and informed consent form in research. Before we come deeper about research ethics, what it means about it concerns the responsibility of researchers to be honest and respectful to all individuals who are affected by their research studies or their reports of their studies results. As the first principle of research ethics is autonomy. In this part, participants should consent to participate in studies, and those who cannot give their consent, such as children, people with diminished abilities, and prisoners, need to be protected. If they don't wish to participate, nobody should force them otherwise. As the second principle of research ethics is beneficence. In this part, the researchers minimize the risk and maximize possible benefit. As the third principle is non-maleficence. In this part, the researchers don't harm the participants. And as the last principle is justice. In this part, it is about fairness in procedures for selecting participants. Being fair to the participants, the needs of the participants should come first. As the next thing that I want to discuss is about unethical practices in educational. These are the example of unethical practices in educational research. So the first one is harm your participants. As the example, I did my research, for example, in one of the senior high school, but then because I didn't get enough data or what I expect from my students or from the participants is totally different with what I got in my research, then I force them by maybe doing harmful things, like hurt them physically or maybe mentally. This thing is actually an ethical practice in educational research, and it's violate the principle of research ethics, which is non-maleficence. And then the next one is no fairness. Like, I did my research in one class where I supposed to make it in two different classes to compare, but I just make it one, and then another data is fake data, or even I did plagiarisms. I take the data from another research. That is also actually the example of unethical practices in educational research. These are the example of ethical practices in educational research. So the first one is fair to your participants. It is like you fair to the people who do participations in your research. Like, for example, if you're supposed to do interview or your research in two different classes, you have to be fair to them. You have to be fair with your participants, although they are from two different classes or maybe different backgrounds. And then give advantages. Give advantages is like you give benefits to your participants or other people. Give benefits to your participants is like make them feel that their participation in your research is useful for them and also for you. And give advantages to other people, like it's like what you have to do in your research, the results or the report of your research have to be useful for other people. And then don't do plagiarisms. It is like in data collections, you are not allowed to do plagiarisms because it is unethical practices if you do plagiarisms. if it's your research, you have to find the data based on your studies. And then the last is protect their privacy. Their privacy here, it is actually about their uh, name or their biography. So if they don't allow you to write their privacy, write their profile maybe in your research or in your data, then you cannot do that. So you have to protect their privacy as the participations in your research. As the next things that I want to discuss is informed consent and informed consent form. Informed consent is actually the most essential part in research ethics. Informed consent is actually verbal or non-verbal consent. Well, if they want to participate in our research or not. If the participants want to participate in our research or not. An informed consent form is actually the documents which is actually about informed consent form. This is actually the illustrations about informed consent form. So there will be the title of the project and then researcher's name and followed by email address, phone number and social media account. So it will be very useful for the participants to contact the researchers. And then we'll also universities names. It's actually the identity of university or institutions of the research. And then there will be the descriptions about your research. And we enter informed consent form where there will be like agreement here and then followed by signature, the name of the participants and date. So if the participant is willingness to participate in our research, there will be some contacts that can be written by our participants, such as their Facebook, WhatsApp, and others. So that's all the illustrations of informed consent form.